morning, everybody.
Good
Look
morning.
who's here.
Hello.
It is Chad Benson of the Chad Benson Show. Make sure that you're following him if you're not already. He is filling in for Daisy this morning because she is playing nurse to her husband, Greg, who just got a brand new right knee. So he has joined the New Knee Club along with our happy little YouTube moderator here, Neve, and me. We also have new knees. And so everything is great. He did great. And he's, I think, on his way to PT already this morning. So he's doing well. And Daisy, of course, thanks you for all of the prayers. And keep them coming because it is, it can be a rough recovery. So I was just telling Chad about that before we went live. It's a bit of a recovery. You guys, I am already hopped up on energy because I am drinking mud water this morning. This is the stuff that
mud water.
It's mud water, and it's kind of like a chai latte. That's what I always tell people it tastes like. So if you are a chai tea or a chai latte fan, you are going to love mud water, and you will especially love it if you are not a person who likes like major caffeine that you get from coffee. This has a little touch of it because it's got like cacao and other like natural things that give you energy, organic stuff that gives you energy, but it's not quite like the, you know what I mean, that you can get from coffee sometime. And you guys, let me just tell you that when you get mud water, if you get like their starter kit, this is the cool little, what do you call it? Mixer. Like here, let me show you what it does.
Whoa, here we go.
Yeah, let me turn it on because it's cool. It does this.
Look at that.
See that? They send that to you for free when you get your starter kit. You can get up to 43% off of your entire order at Mudwater. And don't forget, Mudwater is without vowels in the water part. It's MUDWTR. You get free shipping. You get the free rechargeable frother. That's the word I was looking for. Frother. Not mixer, because it's like fancy. When you use code CHICKS, this is at mudwater.com, MUDWTR.com. It is delicious, and I like it sometimes. I mean, I love me some coffee too, but every now and then I kind of like to switch it up, and that's where Mudwater comes in. MUDWTR.com. Use code CHICKS. Try it. You guys, we have to talk about the weirdest like organization that most of you probably had never heard of. I had never heard of it before yesterday. But when you hear all of these people talk about the genocide that Israel is committing in Gaza.
You and I are going to battle here.
Do you think it's a genocide?
Genocide is a word that's made up after World War II, and I don't use that. Do I think it's an atrocity? I absolutely think things are going on there because I have little kids and I look and I see what's going on and I follow it every day. And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, if you support Israel, you need to tell your friends, hey, maybe you don't do these things. It's not making you look good, right? Like I would tell my friend, dude, I don't think I would do that if I were you. I don't think I would jump over the lake with the piranha in it if I were you, because you're not going to make it. And that's that kind of thing. But yeah, some of these groups out there, I mean, it's just, yeah, I've had some, I've had an issue over the last several months. There's no doubt.
Well, and Daisy warned me about that you and she, when you were filling in, when I was getting my new knee.
Oh, is that when you were getting your knee?
Yeah, that's when I was getting the new knee. And she said that you guys butted heads about this topic a little bit, but I don't think you and I are going to butt heads about this aspect of this topic. I mean, you already, even just the word genocide, that like raises the burr for people, but technically what is happening does not fall under any kind of legal definition of genocide. And unfortunately, there are so many media outlets that will just pounce on the, just random no-name organizations or organizations that they haven't vetted at all to claim that there is, in fact, a genocide. So I want to give an example of this because this happened yesterday and I was absolutely amazed. There is an organization called the International Association for Genocide Studies, which has been recently cited by tons of media outlets because they came out with a statement saying it's officially a genocide. So there were some people all over Twitter who were like, well, what is this organization? What makes them experts? I'm going to look into it. Turns out you pay $30 and you're automatically in the ranks of genocide scholars that belong to this association. And this was something that Aiton Fishberger pointed out, tried. He was like, I'm just going to see what happens when I give my $30 and sign up. And so he did. He was immediately accepted and was able to see the other members of this association. And so a bunch of other people decided to give it a go as well, including the Israel War Room, who said, hey, breaking, Israel War Room is a registered genocide studies expert. The International Association of Genocide Scholars made headlines after 24% of members voted to recognize the Gaza genocide. And so then as people started to really explore this, they noticed that among the inactive members was Adolf Hitler. So,
I don't think that's Adolf Hitler.
I know. What are they trying to pull here, man? But the crazy thing about it is that there was no vetting done of this organization before a bunch of different media outlets started reporting about it as if this is a leading group of academic experts. This included the New York Times. This included, we're going to see a whole slew of them here, the BBC. World's leading experts say that Israel is committing genocide. PBS, the AP. I mean, it went on and on. The WAPO, like it just goes on and on and on. And so when CNN reported it, and I think Reuters was another one, they all, talked about it as this is the world's largest academic association of genocide scholars. When they got called out, then all of a sudden the member directory went dark. So you immediately would get a 404. The Aiton Fishberger, who started this whole experiment, or who was one of the first to start it, immediately had his account deactivated, but he wasn't refunded.
I was going to say, did he not get his
Nope.
No?
And there was no acknowledgement. Like this organization made no statement. There was no acknowledgement whatsoever. And then in fact, they not only took down that page of members, they deleted their entire X account. So these are the kinds of sources that a lot of the mainstream news media outlets are using. And it lends to the incredibility of all of these news reports.
That's why I don't go to any news place. Like I go to antiwar.com is great. You're going to find left, right, everybody. I go to places where I know these people, and because on the other side of it, then you've got CBS, right? Like they've got Barry Weiss, who is basically now the functo spokesperson for Israel. And this isn't about Israel or the Jews. I'm Jewish. This is about the people that are running Israel right now, who I think are, they run our country for the most part. And let me tell you something, the stuff I get, I will tell you this right now. I get at least several messages a day from like people saying they've contacted all of my advertisers, they want me fired. I get all the time. And it's the same people. I'm anti-Semitic. My mom laughs. She goes, "You're Jewish." I'm like, "I know, Mom, but what are you going to do?" Right? Like they don't care. You can't even say, "I don't think you should kill a whole bunch of kids." I don't think that's good. Right? Like I think that's not a good look for you guys. And they're like, "Well, that's because you hate the Jews." You're like, "What?"
I mean, I hear what you're saying. I do think that we're on opposite sides of this argument, but really, I mean, we're not going to get into the weeds on that today. I don't want to fight with you. I just wanted to point out that when it comes to the term genocide and some of the source material that news outlets, that I understand that you don't visit, but this is what mainstream news media outlets are using as their primary source of leading experts. So you just need to take it all with a grain of salt.
And I was going to go join it too.
You what?
I was going to go join.
Well, you can if you want to.
I can't. They're not even around anymore.
Well, the website still exists and you can still join, but their Twitter account,
is
it gone?
It was down a second ago.
Oh, That is interesting. So what a scam,
You know what?
man.
It was
What a
probably some dude
scam.
who set this thing up like 10 years ago, forgot all about it. Then all of a sudden, he threw something out there. Next thing you know, he's getting all this money, he has no idea why. And they're like, I'm not a leading expert, I'm an idiot.
Anyway, just word to the wise. You need to be careful about who you're trusting to give you your news. We say this all the time. You just don't hate the mainstream media enough.
No.
You really, really
And
don't.
triple check everything.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
triple check everything. AI is better than it's ever been. It's getting better every single day. I work in it
Right?
every single day. My uncle and I, because he's one of the leaders in AI, and the stuff he shows me is so far ahead and is so scary. He goes, by next midterms, he goes, not by the end of the year, you won't be able to tell. He goes, and they're doing it in real time in ways that are so crazy.
Yeah.
Where now you could watch a television show and you could go, ooh, I like that character. And you could type it in and it will follow that character and give it its own storyline almost in real time.
What?
Yeah.
Well, and is the character played by an actual actor or is the character AI? Like this, you know, what are movies going to look like? Right?
We just did a deal with CBS and we have no actors.
What in the
One actor,
world?
not one voice actor, nothing.
Oh my gosh.
So they did this
These
like
are some
3-part
scary
thing they're
times,
doing. And
man.
because anybody, it's personalized media in a way that you've never had it before, but next year you're not even gonna be able to tell. You're gonna have to triple check, quadruple check. And the other thing is you also have plausible deniability. Even if you did something, you can say, that's not me, that's AI.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And that gets real scary. I mean, when you think about like foreign actors and what they can create and make seem real, I mean, it's also scary. We've been talking about it for, I mean, basically years. And even I remember last year showing some videos, you know, that were manipulated to make it look like, for example, Donald Trump was saying something that he wasn't saying. Those have perfected so much in just over the past year. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Incredible. But I will tell you what is real, and you know this to be true also, and that is Ruff Greens.
Greens.
I know you love them. This is the dog and cat nutritional supplement that was created by naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black. It has all the essential vitamins, minerals, digestive enzymes, antioxidants that your pets need to live their longest, healthiest lives. And I don't know about your creatures, because I know you got a lot of creatures and not just dogs. Do you ever use Ruff Greens on any other creatures?
You know, on some of my vegetable eaters, I would put some of it on top of their vegetables and stuff because it's the greens and they're fine. My other stuff, I'm not going to put it on a rabbit.
Okay.
I'm going to eat the rabbit. But my dogs and cats love it. You know what? Ruff Greens for my mom's dogs, because her smallest dog is a Saint Bernard. So she's got great
smallest.
Yeah, she got Great Pyrenees, giant Great Danes that dwarf the Saint Bernard. It has helped them with their hips, though, and they're so much sprier and younger and more mobile than ever before.
I mean, it really is amazing stuff. And the fact that dogs love it doesn't hurt, right? I mean, they want the especially if you're giving them dry kibble, which is just like dead brown food. This is the stuff that brings it to life. And you can get a free Jumpstart trial bag. This is a $20 value. You only pay shipping when you go to ruffchicks.com and use code chicks. And you'll see right when you get to the page, you can either choose like the free trial bag for dogs or the free trial bag for cats, whichever you want, whatever animal you have, or maybe you want both. I don't know.
Right. And by the way, RUFF, because if you go to the other Ruff Chicks,
very different website.
You can choose, do I want her to be a cat or do I want her to be a dog?
It's a very different website, you guys. I don't recommend trying that one. It's RUFF, or as I like to say, ruffchicks.com. Use code chicks. Don't forget to use that code. All right, let's talk about some other world affairs. There's some weird stuff going on in Germany, you guys. What was this headline? So we've got a news report that is going to explain this further, but apparently there's a bunch of people that are just randomly dying who are all a part of Germany's right-wing AfD party. And this is ahead of some very near to be held elections.
Yes.
And so What are the chances that this many people from one singular political party would just all of a sudden die? I don't know, but this guy that you're about to see has questions.
Yesterday, I read 4 German AfD candidates who were supposed to sit in the elections died suddenly. 4 politicians that are a part of the AfD in Germany, which supports mass deportations. 4 of them died unexpectedly. I woke up today and it was 6 AfD politicians died suddenly. In the last hour, it is now 7 AfD politicians died suddenly. 7 from one party. One party in Germany which supports mass deportations. And this is before key state elections. To put that into perspective, imagine any party in your country, any one party had 7 of their politicians die suddenly before an election, especially when they're the opposition. Just before elections, a party that's been gaining a lot of traction in Germany. 7 candidates.
That is
What is going on?
insane.
Insane.
I mean, it's not, and this isn't like if you go back and look at Pablo Escobar, there was a time when I think he killed like 7 of the 12 presidential candidates. This isn't narco drugs taking people out, or you see those people that are like, I'm going to stand up to them and they get sworn in and 2 seconds later. No, this is just, imagine if, I don't know, 60 of your Congress people all drop dead. Vladimir Putin's like, I know this has happened before in my country. Fortunate for me, it's never happened to me.
This is not normal. And like, I know I saw some people going, were they vaccinated? I don't think it has anything to do with the vaccine. I don't think that is what's going on here. This is freaking insane. And the fact that the BBC, they're reporting on this is to say, there's nothing unusual or suspicious about this at all. It's all natural causes. Really?
Well, why is nobody else? So 20,000 candidates are running for office, which happens next week.
Mm-hmm.
But are other politicians in other parties dropping dead, or is it just a singular group of politicians?
I mean, it seems to be very specifically to this particular party. And that is what is weird. You can't say it's not weird.
And they are in a position where, and people look at them and say, well, they've only got 20% or 20 in the country. A lot of countries, you don't realize 20, 22, 25% may win you everything because there's 12 different parties.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like us. I always try to explain to people the rest of the globe, you know, I mean, you've got the right and the left in Britain with a few other ones, but everybody else has a very fractured system of 12 different parties.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, we're just saying it's weird. Something to keep an eye on, especially if there's more. I mean, you know, the election's still a week away. I don't know that we've reached the end of the dying suddenly in this party. If I were in that party, I'd be like, I'm a little worried.
They're not 75, 110-year-old men. They didn't all eat at the same place. That's the other thing. You're not finding out a lot about how they died.
Right. I saw a couple reports where, there was some heart issues, but these are like people in their late 50s, early 60s. You know, like to your point, they're not all Joe Biden. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They didn't go into and have some bratwurst that was tainted and all drop dead. You can go, well, you know, at least we can point to one thing.
Exactly. It's very sketch, and everybody just needs to be aware of it. And speaking of sketch, if you are a person who genuinely continues to believe that Greta Thunberg is anything other than
a page boy from the 1800s,
she is a professional activist. She doesn't actually care about anything, you guys. She doesn't care about the climate. She doesn't care about Gaza. She cares about being an activist and likely getting paid for it. And the proof of that is, do you remember back in the day when she cared about the climate, she was like, I'm taking a sailboat in order to go to the United States, for example. She would never, ever, ever consider, harming the environment or using cars or doing anything. Now she's on a freaking diesel ship on the flotilla headed to Gaza, and this consumes 45 liters of fuel per hour. And yet she's not even there. That's not even on her radar anymore. She just does not care about it.
Well, she's trying to take them food, but have you seen her haircut? That's more concerning.
It's really concerning. Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it. Like Daisy compared her to Lord Farquaad the other
Yeah,
day.
well, yeah. She's like a page boy from, hello, sir. How can I help you? Weird. Did you know I'm going to ruin your childhood? Did you know that? You ruined mine with your haircut, lady.
They're
going to go get arrested too, by the way. Is she even on the boat?
She is. Yeah,
okay.
She is on the boat. She is. And I don't know where in the journey they are at this point, but they are on the journey after initially having to turn around because of storms. And then they went out the day after that. I don't know where they are, but they are headed to Gaza with their little, grocery bags of sandwiches. So we'll see what happens to them. Meanwhile, yesterday in the Oval, Trump greeted the Polish president, after whom I am named today. Karol Nawrocki came to visit, and he had high praise for Trump when they sat down and started taking questions from reporters.
I think that we have so strong relations that we have never had. And it's very important for me. Our relations are based, of course, on the values. Right. And thank you very much for your support, for your endorsement during my very hard campaign. I remember it, and I'm very grateful for your support.
They call him the Polish Trump.
Okay.
They are very aligned on ideology. So his support apparently helped him win the election. And Poland, which is my motherland, yes. Poland is one of the few NATO countries who, before Trump's first term, where he went after NATO and said, you guys need to start paying up, like you need to pay your fair share, not to use a liberal phrase, but it's true. Like they're supposed to be at least 2%?
2%.
And so many countries were not even meeting that hurdle. Poland was always exceeding it. One of the few countries to always exceed it.
Poland wants to fight. Poland looks over and goes, you know what? I see you, Russia. What you guys did, that was some shit. We're going to get you. And Germany, don't think we ever forgot about this. So we want it. We want it. I mean, they're itching. Like, they're ready. Like, every time one of those missiles gets a little bit, like, it comes over onto their side, they're like, are we doing this?
Because we're ready.
Because we're ready.
Don't tempt us.
Yeah, we already got half Ukraine here anyways.
They have always paid in for their own defense. And that was another thing that the president of Poland mentioned. He said, we're not like those other free riders in Europe. And I loved that he used that term. I think he meant freeloaders, but it'll work.
I like the free riders.
We are not like the Poland free riders in Europe and in NATO. Mr. President Trump knows it, because our GDP for military service achieved 4.7. So we are probably the one NATO nation which is on this level, and we will not stop. Me, as the president of Poland, we are going to achieve 5% of GDP for military service, but with American soldiers on Polish soil, we solidified and we are secure.
Germany and Russia, just let you know, secure. You want some of this?
We are secure, he said.
Did you see when Germany said they'll send some troops to Ukraine if they have to? And then Poland's people, one of their leaders sent out a thing. Let me get this right. You want to march your troops through our country to go fight Russia. We just want to make sure you're not stopping here.
Okay, there's a couple more clips that we want to get to from that presser. But first of all, I learned something about you in pre-show that I did not know before, and that is that you are not an actual bald person. And I just need to let everybody else know that he's not an actual bald person. My husband is now trying. He just started it, so I can't like comment on results just yet. But our sponsor, OneSkin, has this new scalp serum that helps grow your hair. And so he is trying it. He's, my husband's got a lot of hair, but it is thinning. I mean, he's like in his 50s, and there's starting to be some areas that could use a little growth. And he's not ready, as you were, even though you didn't need to just be like, I'm sick of my hair, I'm going to shave it all off. So
you know what? You got to have the right dome, because if you don't have a good dome, it don't look right.
It's true. And not everybody does. And if you happen to be one of the people that doesn't have the right dome, or if you are a woman who's just concerned that menopause is maybe wreaking havoc on your hair, because hair thinning is one of the symptoms of menopause, unfortunately, like we don't have enough to deal with. Am I right, ladies? There's this OS1, this component that is in the OneSkin scalp serum. It's the same kind of component that is in their skincare products, which I adore, by the way. I love especially their cleanser. Amazing. Love their cleanser because it's so gentle. So I will report back in a few months, give my husband's hair some time to react to this new scalp serum, but it's very exciting that they've added this to the lineup, and you can try that or any of their other skincare at oneskin.co, not com, oneskin.co. And you can also get 15% off when you use code CHICKS. Try it. Check it out. It's good stuff.
Ladies.
Good stuff. When the press started asking questions at this Oval Office meeting with the Polish president, one of them asked Trump about whether he has any messages that he would like to relay to President Putin. Because as you know, there was this recent meeting with Kim Jong-un and with President Xi, and now it seems that North Korea and China and Russia are like BFFs.
And India. India's kind of like, it's like a weird cousin.
Yeah, it is kind of like a weird cousin. And so in light of these conversations, the question was, do you have anything to say to President Putin? And here was Trump's response.
I have no message to President Putin. He knows where I stand, and he'll make a decision one way or the other. Whatever his decision is, we'll either be happy about it or unhappy. And if we're unhappy about it, you'll see things happen.
You'll see things happen.
I don't know what that means. We're not going to put any boots on the ground. We're just going to get more stuff to fight.
Yeah. I mean, listen, he has done a lot to stop a lot of conflicts. There's no question about it. But this is one of those ones that seems a little intractable at the moment. And
Putin has no reason to back down. He's got none.
I mean, that's the thing.
Your economy is not crushed like a lot of people thought. As long as India and China continue to buy oil from them, that's what we're telling them to do. Hit them in their infrastructure. Putin, though, doesn't care. He is I'm going to blow up everything. I don't care if it's a house or infrastructure for your military machine. I'm going to blow it all up. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't care. They're losing 7,000 a week.
A week. And he doesn't care.
You have my military guy that I have on every week, Mike Lyons. He talks about that's World War I trench numbers at the height, World War II in certain areas. Like that is, he doesn't care because he thinks I got more people than you have bullets and people.
Mm-hmm. It's true. I mean, it's true. And he's also a madman. So, I mean, when you put those things into one equation, it's bad. And I don't think Trump should be surprised that he hasn't had the level of influence that maybe he thought or that he claimed he would have. But there was an accusation by a Polish reporter who was in attendance that Trump isn't doing anything, that his words and his messaging has not been backed by action. And Trump did not like that, and he let this reporter know it.
You've expressed many times your frustration and disappointment with Putin, but there's no action since you took your office. Don't you worry that...
How do you know there's no action?
But don't you worry...
Wait.
What actions did you have you taken? I'm with Polish radio.
Okay. How do you know there's no action? Would you say that putting secondary sanctions on India, the largest purchaser outside of China, they're almost equal, Would you say there was no action? That cost hundreds of billions of dollars to Russia. You call that no action? And I haven't done phase 2 yet or phase 3. But when you say there's no action, I think you ought to get yourself a new job, because if you remember, 2 weeks ago I said, if India buys, India's got big problems, and that's what happened. So don't tell me about that.
Oh, damn. There's a phase 2 and a phase 3.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I mean, we're not going to, well, I think at some point you've got to figure out, you're going to fish or cut bait. Are we going to just give them weapons and say, all right, you know what? If he's going to do this, you guys just better start having at it, because you're at the point now where in certain areas, average age, 60 years old, that's fighting. They've got pregnant women. On the average age across the board is in the 40s. They've run out of young men, and the young men have all bounced. Part of the reason was they figured if we win this war, we're going to have to be able to repopulate our country. We don't want to be like Iran and Iraq that had no men left back in the day, and they've just run out of people. I mean, you know, I saw pregnant women out there getting ready to do battle.
What in the world?
I know. When did you have time to get pregnant?
Oh my God. Well, and then also, you know, this accusation of inaction is kind of infuriating, even if you only look at the fact that starting in his first term, Trump really hit NATO hard by saying, you guys you're not contributing. You don't care about your own defense. We are not always going to be, you can't just rely on the United States.
Yeah.
And we can't handle, this is your freaking continent. You know what I
Your
mean?
backyard.
Yes. And so at a minimum, Trump has increased the contributions, the dedication, like the commitment
They wanted
by
us
NATO.
to care for them.
Right. Exactly. So I'm like Trump. I don't appreciate that guy saying you haven't done anything. Screw you.
I think
this is your continent.
When the China thing is out there, why haven't you gone after China the way you went after India? And now you've kind of driven India over to, you know, I mean, I think if push came to shove, they'll stay neutral or come over to our side if something horrible was to happen. Because Modi, you know, he's not happy with the way that this has gone down. It's more of a personal thing between the two of them. That being said, you know, we've got to figure out either we're going to be in this or we're going to be out of it. I think a lot of people are frustrated. And, you know, Trump talked, and I think part of the thing is he talked a good game about I could get this done today and get this done tomorrow. I think that's coming back to haunt him, because Putin right now, he didn't have any reason to stop. He's going to take as much as he possibly can until he can get a puppet state in there.
Oh my gosh.
And they're going to continue to see people die by the thousands. And for those of you guys don't know and don't do it, it's on the internet. I've watched hours of war.
Really?
You watch everything. Watching people hand-to-hand combat.
Oh my
It is
gosh.
crazy. And you know, it's a war that is it at first it was trench warfare. Now you're walking down a street and they're battling in backyards. It's crazy. And it's going to continue to go this way because Putin has there's no reason for an off-ramp.
Oh my gosh. That is discouraging.
And yesterday, I'm sure you felt like the bee's knees, right? He's sitting there. He's got Kim Jong-un who's sending him all of these troops to die, you know? And by the way, did you hear about them when they first got their first 10,000 that got there?
No.
They're like looking and they're like, oh, phone? Oh, nudity. And that was it. They said the Russians are like, we can't get them to do anything. They're just sitting there looking at porn all day.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. They were
Oh my gosh.
So, but he just sent another 20,000 troops, and they told him, you're going to die up there or you're going to die here with your family. So the choice is yours.
God, what an absolute ass backwards country and just trio. And the thing about China too, as you mentioned, like why aren't we hitting them? I don't understand what's going on with China, because Daisy and I always talk about these, the fact that Trump is so adamant about letting these 600,000 students come from China. And we're like, what is going on? This doesn't seem like a Trump thing that he would be so hell-bent on.
He's letting them get chips from, NVIDIA, which was supposed to be a no-no, but we're taking 15%. I don't want that. I don't want them to get stuff like that. I don't
Right.
care if we have first run chips. We figure out, dude, are you going to go whole hog? They're doing everything they can in their power to dominate the globe, and you're kind of pussyfooting around with it. Either make a decision and stick with it, or just say, we don't care what they do.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like the China. I know he's always talking about how he's like super tight with President Xi. And I know to some extent he's got to say that, like, I get along with everybody. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like it. I
No.
don't understand it. I don't understand why he keeps saying it would be insulting to China to not allow 600,000 of their students to come. I don't care if China is insulted.
What's the old saying? Not every college, not every Chinese person in college is a spy, but every spy in college can't be Chinese.
Right.
It's like, I'm sure you guys have talked to Gordon Chang. Gordon will tell you there are people that are second, third generation. They're Americans now, and their parents immigrated from China. They'll get a knock at the door one day. They don't even speak Chinese. And they're like, you're going to go do this because grandma and grandpa are back home and you don't want them to disappear. And
oh my gosh.
And because they play the long game. They don't care. They're willing. Xi's a little different though, because I think, you would think you'd see the end of the line because you're a little bit older, but did you see them talking yesterday?
Oh yeah, I think they think that they're going to live forever because of like biotech.
Well, no, because they say, well, we've got all these organs.
Yeah.
You need a heart, we'll just shoot somebody and give you a heart.
Exactly. And so they're just going to keep replacing organs and like be president when they're 150.
Which makes you think when there was all of those issues with Putin and he disappeared for a while, like, did they do something? Did they say he needed kidneys? Look at this. Let's start a conspiracy.
Yeah, that's what we need. We need more conspiracies for sure. What did you make of the explosion of the Venezuelan narco ship the other day?
That was pretty cool. My first
Right?
thought is, I hope it's a narco ship because no offense, I'm not trying to be mean. I love America. I want Trump to do well, but Biden said we're going to get back at those guys who shot at and blew up everything in Afghanistan at the airport. Then we killed a guy who was going to get milk for his kids, and that cost us like $50 million. I was curious though why we didn't. Well, it's a message, right? If you guys are going to zip around here, we're going to blow you guys up. Why we didn't take people into custody and go, all right, here's the deal. Where'd you get all your stuff? Where's it going? Who are your suppliers?
Because I think that's what we've done before, and that has never worked. And so Marco Rubio was actually talking about this just yesterday, and I thought had a perfect explanation. Here he is.
For many, many years, established intelligence that allow us to interdict and stop drug boats. And we did that. And it doesn't work. Interdiction doesn't work because these drug cartels, what they do is they know they're going to lose, 2% of their cargo. They bake it into their economics. What will stop them is when you blow them up, when you get rid of them. The President of the United States is going to wage war on narco-terrorist organizations. This one was operating in international waters, headed towards the United States to flood our country with poison. And under President Trump, those days are over.
I'm fine with this.
I don't think who feels bad about drug people being blown up. I don't think most people don't feel bad about that. They're not,
Well,
I mean,
the lefties do. They're like rushing to defend the narco terrorists. I mean, shouldn't they have gotten due process, Chad? This is like literally what lefties are saying.
Well, they did, right? They just didn't know it.
Right. They got served their due process.
Yeah, it's we have a big problem. First of all, we have several problems. We've allowed this stuff to flow in way too much and too easily over the years, not just under Biden, but throughout time and memoriam. We also have a consumption problem in this country.
Totally true.
It's like if there wasn't a market for it, they wouldn't be trying to come here. But this was a message said, we're going to blow your ass up if you try to come here with this.
Exactly. If anything, it's a little bit of a deterrent, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely
it's a message.
It's a message. Is it a deterrent for the people and the powers that be, like the Cartel of the Suns and which is the group that's the kind of the Sinaloa of South America now? No, not for them. They're just going to send 10 boats now. That's the way they look at it. It sucks for those guys who are there who, who want to be drug lords themselves. And this is their, this is their induction into it. But you're going to find out that America's no joke.
FAFO, man.
That's
FAFO.
That's right. We got kids flying drones around that are going to come look at you and then light you on fire.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Real quickly, before we move on to crime, because we need to talk about crime and all of Trump,
that
all the
was
people
water
that are
crime.
complaining.
We're going to talk about land
Right.
crime next.
This is a whole different crime, a whole different kind of crime. I do want to mention that for folks out there, moms, grandmas, aunts, women in general, who really want to get involved in politics, but maybe don't have an avenue or don't exactly know how. And you hear people say to you all the time, write your representatives and push back against this law and this bill and this legislation and make your voices known. Here is your cheat code, especially if you are a lazy woman like I am. Concerned Women for America has a fantastic website. You can sign up to support women's success. They've got this adorable book. This was written by their founder. It is this: Secret Rules for Success in Business and Life. This was written by their CEO, but the organization itself has this cool thing on their website. Not only will they keep you informed and abreast of all the news and all the bills that are going on, but they also have a super easy way to contact your legislators. So for example, if there's an issue that you care about, you literally just say, I'm in Indiana, for example, and there will be a form letter all written out for you that has exactly probably how you feel about that issue ready to go. You can edit it if you want. And then a way of submitting that directly to your representatives without having to go look up an address and figure out how to do it on your own. They make it so easy. And that's just one of the ways that they help. They are focused on 7 core issues, which of course, Daisy and I are huge believers of: family, sanctity of life, religious liberty, parental choice when it comes to education, fighting sexual exploitation, sovereignty, national sovereignty, and support for Israel. They do all of those things. So think about donating, because when you donate $20, you get the book, right? You get the book. You can just visit concernedwomen.org/chicks, concernedwomen.org/chicks. Can I tell you how much I love the DHS Twitter account for this that they posted yesterday in response to some clown saying, look at these troops hanging out in the DC metro today, displaying assault rifles, doing absolutely nothing. And Homeland Security retweeted it and said, why do we need firefighters? Nothing is on fire. Which is the perfect response to this idiocy coming from the left. Like, why do we need National Guard? There's no crime. There is crime, you idiots. My gosh, I just loved this. Love it.
They look thrilled there.
Well, I mean, they are doing their job and they are helping. DC crime stats are way, way down. And now that Trump is saying, hey, we're going to do the same thing in Chicago and perhaps other cities across the country, lefties are on the side of crime. It's incredible. And the fact that they're trying to suggest, as Lori Lightfoot is about to do in this clip, that Trump is manufacturing a crime crisis is so freaking tone deaf. And yet here she is doing exactly that.
If he comes to Chicago, he's going to be in court, and he's going to be sued by the state. He's going to be sued by the city, and I believe that there will be private interests that also sue him. This is not about violent crime, and I don't think we should pretend that this manufactured crisis and his attempt to provoke people in Chicago is legitimate exercise of power. It is not.
It's manufactured crime. It's not real, Chad. It's all made up.
It's, you know what it is? It is, and I've been very vocal about this. I don't want him to send in the troops. First of all, I don't think we need to federalize troops on the streets. Secondly, you vote, right? Obama said it. The elections have consequences. Mm-hmm. You continue to be fooled by these people over and over again. Either pick a new path or stop bitching about the violence that goes on in your neighborhoods. It's 15 neighborhoods, 15. And they are run down, and the same people come year in and year out, tell them how they're going to fix all the ills. And then what do? They don't live there. Their kids go to private schools. They move far away from it. They're in bed with all of the unions, and they continue to allow this to happen. Then they elect idiots who are the DAs who then decide, hey, even if we arrest somebody, we're just going to let him go free anyways. So what's the use at this point in time? You guys have made this bed, and it sucks. But you have a choice. You're looking at Lori Lightfoot. She's a nut. Why are they talking to you? You lost to Johnson, who's an idiot. He's LARPing as a mayor. He's not even real. He's a teachers union guy. He doesn't live where you live. And it sucks that black on black crime is through the roof, that the average median income of the neighborhoods is about $42,000 compared to $100,000 across the rest of Chicago and about $75,000 in Illinois. And what do you allow to happen? You go, well, we could vote for this person. He said he's going to be hard on crime, but these people over here say he's dangerous. So we'll vote for you again, who's done nothing for us. Why fix their problem?
Well, that's true. And regardless of where you stand on having the National Guard, federalizing troops to go into these cities, what happened in DC has worked. And you cannot deny the results of, and listen, it's not because National Guard troops necessarily are going to police, but they are relieving the police of other stuff that was keeping them busy. I mean, the fact that they're cleaning up the areas, that they're getting rid of graffiti, all of those things contribute to a safer, more pristine environment, which actually deters crime. When you've got filth and homeless and just nastiness everywhere, drugs in the street with no shame, you're asking for more crime activity. And the problem is that even if they don't want National Guard, they don't want federalized forces in the middle of the streets, the fact that they are resisting Trump's effort to help stop crime is freaking batshit. And that is what makes no sense.
Well, they're idiots.
They're idiots.
And you can have the FBI, because they have local, they have ATF and DEA. They can surge there, and they're actually law enforcement. They could go do some stuff where you're going to send them there. They're going to guard federal stuff. I mean, what are they? But you could do stuff for real. And the fact that you choose, because the Democrats, this is the beauty of the Democrats. They're so retarded. Yeah, I said that word because I can say it now because Trump totally said you could say that word.
You can say it on our show.
They're helmet wearing. They picked the wrong choice in every way, shape, and form. Doesn't matter what it is. It's like, is this the worst choice? This is it. We'll do that one then. And it's the same thing with crime. They picked the wrong thing. Don't discount what these people are going through in these neighborhoods. But they do. And J.B. Pritzker is running for president. That's why he's on Ozempic or whatever. It didn't work for freaking Chris Christie, I'll tell you that.
Well, it's true. The Democrat, and they are so, their only messaging at this point is just resisting anything that Trump does. Here's a great example. Delia Ramirez of Chicago. She is saying we have to obstruct. That's what the message is.
We have to continue to resist. And this moment demands courage. It demands us to understand that we must obstruct and do everything we can to oppose any of these authoritarian actions against our cities.
Not authoritarians. When I heard at one time this authoritarian came, he was like, "You're going to read all these books." And I'm like, "I don't want them. You're going to do it."
Oh my gosh. The people in office, I guess we get the people we deserve. That's how the old saying goes.
You have consequences.
I know. I get it. But what are we doing with people like this? So you're not seeing her in the picture right now, but you're about to see a video of an 88-year-old DC delegate. Her name is Eleanor Holmes Norton. She spoke at that same little rally about being anti-Trump and obstructing and resisting any efforts he makes to stop crime. She can't even walk away, and she has just announced that she's running for re-election, you guys. It doesn't even matter what she says. You just need to watch her. She's running for re-election. She can't walk.
I'm Congressmember Judy Chu, And I stand with the ACLU and
What
all
are we
of you here
doing?
today to say no to President Trump's authoritarian takeover of my
Oh my
community of
God.
Los Angeles, of Washington.
Oh my God. Let's see. You know what? I think these people are it was like you go back to Dianne Feinstein. They're like, no. Like they would say, all right, it's time for you to vote. And she's like, I pledge allegiance. You're like, no. And I've been here all the time. They're like, you've been gone for 4 months. No, I haven't. And these people, the power around them, they don't want to give it up. It's not just these people, but these people, it's like if the cameras aren't there and they're not in the place that they think they should be, that they're eventually just going to die. That was Ed Koch. Remember Ed Koch, the old mayor of New York?
Yeah.
The old saying from all of his people, and I was watching this documentary about him, his people would say, Ed's feeling is if the cameras aren't there, that he doesn't live. He's non-existent. And so they're obsessed with power and all of this stuff.
Yeah.
What is she bringing to the table?
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. And so it's just at this point, like who are the people in her family who are encouraging this? You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what I bring to the table. Back in my day, I could show you how to get on a horse and buggy and ride it around.
Well, we're not doing that anymore, ma'am.
It's just, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And then on the flip side, when they aren't, when we're not dealing with 88-year-olds running for re-election, we're dealing with commies. And unfortunately, commies like Zohran Mamdani are highly effective politicians. So he knows how to play this game. He is likely going to win the mayor race in New York City. And he just put out this new ad about his competitors. Check this out.
Labor Day might be over, but the democracy clearance sale is still on through November. We're selling candidates, we're selling access, we're selling tax breaks, we're selling New York City, and everything must go.
Or at least that's what the billionaires think. After their guy got wiped out in the Democratic primary in June, they spent all summer trying to figure out who could beat us in the general. And boy, did my opponents give it their best shot. Cuomo was out in the Hamptons pitching his alliance with Trump. Adams sold us out to MAGA months ago. And
Curtis Sliwa says that feral cats are the solution.
And after all this, these three guys still don't know who'll make the best jester for Trump. That's why this month, I'm gonna let them get to the bottom of it at whichever unofficial debates they do. And I wish you guys the best in your auditions. Seriously. And I'm looking forward to getting back in the ring to do the 2 official ones in October as your Democratic nominee. Those are debates sponsored by the Campaign Finance Board. In the meantime, I won't be at this televised circus. I'll continue to take this campaign to you. We'll be bringing town halls directly to New Yorkers struggling to afford their city, rallying them around an agenda to lower the cost of living. And I'll see these guys on the debate stage in October.
He's brilliant at it.
He's so good at it.
And people don't like him. And you know what? He has taken you could take a lot of what he says and because he took it a lot from Trump. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's affordability. And New York is in a different world when it comes to affordability. I watched this thing the other day on my TikTok where this girl walks into a place and she's like, let me show you my house. It's $6,600 a month. She goes, that's my dishwasher. That's my toilet. This is my bed. I have a half window over there and there's a dresser right there. $6,600. People, he speaks that kind of stuff. He's insane. A lot of his ideas are going to fall flat, but you know what? Who are you running against? Cuomo killed all the old people.
Right.
Adams is so dirty he can't even stop. His people handed money to somebody the other day. And you've got, Sliwa, who's, he's a guardian angel.
It's the choices are terrible. There's no question about it. But the fact that nobody is dropping out to give, whoever, whether it's Adams or Cuomo, a better shot at beating him, the more people that stay in the race, the more likely it is that Zohran is going to win, of course. And so there was
he didn't run anybody worth a damn.
What's that?
All of that in New York. You have nobody who is a libertarian because you can't run a hardcore conservative. It's just never going to work in a place like New York.
Right.
But you can't run a centrist libertarian that's got some conservative ideas. You can't find one in 50 gazillion people that live there who doesn't sound like an idiot or wear a beret or have been caught in numerous scandals or killed all the old people.
Right. I mean, these are the choices. And now, a lot of people for a long time have been calling for somebody to drop out to make this, a little bit more unlikely that Zohran is going to run away with it. And now there are rumors that that's exactly what's going on. Mark Halperin was talking about this with Sean Spicer and others, saying that he's hearing a lot of chatter about the fact that Mayor Adams is going to drop out. Here is Mark Halperin on that.
All right. My inbox is filled with chatter that Mayor Adams is going to get out of the mayoral race. I don't know that it's true. I'm not reporting that he's getting out. I'm just telling you, a lot of people are saying he's going to get out, and these are people with some reason to know.
And now there are rumors that actually Trump has been thinking of giving Eric Adams a position in the administration, and specifically in HUD, I think, to get him to drop out. Like, he's tempting him with this potential position, and they are doing the same potentially, this is rumored, with Curtis Sliwa, just so that it's a one-on-one Andrew Cuomo versus Mamdani race. And again, both of them are terrible choices.
And they're both going to lose. It doesn't matter. Mamdani is pulling away. He is.
Yeah.
And the other part of it is that people aren't paying attention to is New York is a younger city. He speaks to young people, right? I mean, they get it. These are old politicians who are running old campaigns against somebody who we saw that. You don't have to like Mamdani, but you can recognize the game he's got is pretty damn good.
It's good game, for sure.
And he's got young people around him, and he speaks to them, and everything they try to do to him, it falls flat on their face.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got Cuomo maybe more seasoned, but dude, it's hard to walk away from the fact that you locked down the city and then killed everybody's old people.
Right. Then resigned in disgrace,
yes,
amid all of these sexual harassment.
That's a hard thing for people to go, oh yeah. No, because also everybody recognizes Mamdani's not gonna be able to do 99% of this stuff. Why? Because he's got all kinds of council members that are going to stop him from doing everything because they're not going to be able to afford it. It sounds good to say that you're going to give everything away and do all of these things, but at the end of the day, you're going to be able to do very little of those. You're not going to get your free, everybody gets free groceries and free rides on buses, and who wants, that's not going to happen.
Well, because there's the part of me too that kind of wishes it will happen so that people can see, yes, this is what happens, you idiots. Yeah. Like, part of me really wants him to win and just do all the things, because I don't know how else we learn. You know what I mean?
Well, we get a look every few years and see, Kirsten Sinema, obviously. Mm-hmm. Kirsten was left of Mamdani when she started in politics. Then she got into politics and saw how it really worked. And then she saw the way that life really was. And she moved well over to the center because she realized that this isn't, these people are all lying to you over here, and these people are lying. And in reality, this is where most people live.
Yeah. What is she doing now?
She's being kind of hot and I think she's on a couple boards.
Do you think she's hot?
Yeah, she's hot. You got to see her person too.
Okay, well, I learned something about Chad today.
Yeah, she's and she was my now Fetterman's my spirit animal.
Yeah, he is.
He even said the other day, I don't care that they blow up boats with drug dealers on it.
And he also said, I saw a clip of him talking about, like, why is everybody mad at Trump for, like, wanting to beautify the White House? He's using his own money. Calm down. Like, how does this hurt anybody? Literally anybody.
When did we decide that urban camping with drug addicts was a choice of life for people?
I don't know. I do not know the answer to that. Do not know the answer.
Go to other countries. Go to Dubai. You can eat off the ground. Go to go to Qatar. You may not like the religious aspect and some of the stuff and the way they're hardcore and stuff. Go to some of those places. You're like, what? Go to Singapore. Remember when they spanked that kid?
Yeah, that's right.
Was it Singapore, right? Where they hit
you go to jail, like if you litter.
Come on the ground.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No.
Can't do it.
Here, you can shoot up, have a condom on your willy, Right? Take a crap in the middle of the street. We're like, that's a life choice.
It's true. So you think Kirsten Sinema is hot. What do you think about Nancy Mace?
She's hot too.
I knew it. I knew you were going to say that.
Nice. It's nice.
She is, as you know, running for governor of my state. I'm not particularly excited about that. And she is getting a lot of flack for her departure from a committee hearing yesterday, or the day before maybe, listening to the Epstein victims give their testimony about what happened to them. She was very, very triggered because she says she is a recent sexual abuse survivor just within the last 2 years. So it's very fresh and raw and painful for her. And she couldn't take it. And she ran out in tears. And so, I didn't like it because what's that?
A little dramatic.
A little dramatic. Well, everything is about Nancy. And so that's typically my criticism of her is that she
Is that why
just
she wears a
needs
medium
lot of
shirt
attention.
everywhere she goes?
Right. Well, she got some flack for that departure, and particularly from Savannah Hernandez. So initially, Nancy said, since it's already being reported, yes, I left the oversight briefing with the Epstein victims early. As a recent survivor, not 2 years in, I had a very difficult time listening to their stories, full-blown panic attacks, sweating, hyperventilating, shaking. I can't breathe. I feel the immense pain of how hard all the victims are fighting for themselves because we know absolutely no one will fight for us. God bless all survivors. And Savannah said, it's actually insane how impossible it is for you not to make every situation about yourself. And Nancy said, so you're telling me you can sit across from Epstein victims who are heartbroken and distraught and have been for 30 years and feel no pain? Completely missing the point. So Savannah said, I'm telling you, you don't have the emotional maturity to be in Congress. Time and again, you have made issues about yourself. And now when these victims needed you to be there to do your job, you walked out and then doubled down on your emotions regarding the matter. And most of the comments, as I read through this thread, were very much on the side of Savannah, saying, Nancy, girl, you need to get yourself together. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people were.
Right? I mean, you're going to be facing, if you're governor, you're going to be facing all kinds of things.
Exactly.
Like when there's a massive flood and some people have died, you can walk out and go, I remember the time I tripped into a bathtub.
Right. I mean, you gotta toughen up, and this can't just be about you. But she was not having it. Nancy said, survivors survive and live to make a difference, whether you like it or not. I am unmoved by your pathetic antics to hurt women and kids. Still waiting for you and other Dems to support any of the legislation I've drafted to protect women and kids. So until then, honey, sit back down, is what she said. Yeah. Yeah.
She did that tank top.
She did that.
You know, she would. She'd be like, can I just wear a wife beater here?
I know. Well, and so then yesterday was the big Epstein presser. And this was an odd one because it was hosted by Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Ro Khanna, and just sort of this collection of odd people that normally don't agree with each other on anything. And so it was very, very interesting. We do have a couple of clips to share from some of the victims and what they said. There was one, for example, named Shantae Davies. I forget which one she was. Oh, yeah, she's the one that named Bill Clinton and Trump, but not in the way that you might expect.
At first, I was an excited young woman on top of the world. Epstein flew me to his private island. He listened to my dreams, promised to help, but his promises came with a catch. The abuse began. He told me to keep it secret. He manipulated me with quid pro quo I did not consent to, but I felt I had no one to turn to. He was too powerful. I was just one of the many young women trapped in his orbit. I was even taken on a trip to Africa with former President Bill Clinton and other notable figures. In those moments, I realized how powerless I was. If I spoke out, who would believe me? Who would protect me? Epstein himself was the most powerful leader of our country. Epstein surrounded himself, with the most powerful leaders of our country and the world. He abused not only me, but countless others, and everyone seemed to look away. The truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually.
which was an interesting thing to say. There was nothing new that was said really in terms of like the name Bill Clinton. Okay, so she went on a trip to Africa with him and then said nothing about what happened on that trip. She said that, you know, Epstein
I
bragged
think
that
their
he
lawyers
was
are telling them
friends.
not to say anything.
Well, and that becomes clear as you'll see from the lawyer. But the whole thing was such a weird spectacle that didn't really, there was nothing new from it. And then in fact, what ended up being kind of new were just the players. So the fact that Gloria Allred was there immediately to me like destroys these victims' credibility, which I hate because I want to believe them. And
Well, I
I
don't think that
do.
they're telling lies.
I don't either. I don't think they're lying, but I do have a problem with the way that they're going about this, especially since so many of them have been paid handsomely. It just makes the whole thing so sketch the second you inject someone as disgusting as Gloria Allred. So, you know, some of these victim stories like this gal, Marina Lacerda, just wants to remember, like she's asking for transparency from the administration because she knows or says she knows that the government is in possession of documents that would help her remember and process her own trauma. And she has not been made privy to those documents. And then there was this other victim or survivor, however you want to frame her, who was like, you know what? We all know who we were victimized by, and we're going to release our own list, which was odd because like, okay, well then just do
Let
it.
me announce now. Several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details on that.
Okay, well then what's the presser for? Like, why are we
The
staying
presser
tuned?
was to try to put pressure on them to release the info, which they're not going to do. They're not.
Is it, but why do you think that is? Is it because there is no more info to release, or do you think that
there's
Trump is
so much
involved in like?
info that
But is Trump involved in a cover up himself, or are the records destroyed? Like, what do you think is the real reason that more won't be released?
Well, first, I think because there are power players, donors who are involved, friends of Trump, friends of the last administration before that, who are all involved. Secondly, there are probably an agency with maybe 3 letters and another agency that is arguably the greatest intel agency on the planet that's also involved. And to know that Uncle Sam was pimping out young girls underage in human trafficking so they could get dirt on powerful people and heads of state, they honeypot, because you got to think about this. And I saw a CIA agent talking about this the other day. He said, think about this for a second, like for the Mossad. You murder somebody, people get over that, especially if you're powerful, certain things, right? You in the West in particular get caught molesting, that's a different story. That's a no-no in the West. That's the kind of power that you can have over people. And this guy had cameras in every room, had microphones in every room. There's a reason for that. There's a reason that he had these things. And I think Trump is trying to protect probably some people and some details that are embarrassing. And I've always said, I never once thought Bill got with young girls. I never once thought Trump got with young girls. But if you're protecting, I find that to be horrific. And calling it a hoax does not help you in this situation.
I totally agree. I mean, that messaging, we got to talk about that, because there was some great advice actually given to Trump about his own messaging on this from Robbie Starbuck, which we will get to. But here's the lawyer that for all these women who talked about the reason that they're not listing out people right now. Here is the lawyer on that.
to. So we've created somewhat of a list. Most of these individuals, the victims, are very scared to say these names because they could get sued, they're going to get attacked, and nobody protected them the first time. And that was against one person. So is there a list? There is a list, but just to dispel kind of the common theme here, every one of these women was abused by Jeffrey Epstein, and his scheme was to personally abuse women. When they reached a certain age, he did farm a section of them, some of them, out to some of his friends. That doesn't mean all of his friends. With that said, I'm more than happy to assist in helping create the list behind the scenes and see what we do with it.
Okay, so then this came the news that from a White House official who said to NBC, quote, helping Thomas Massie and liberal Democrats with their attention seeking while the DOJ is fully supporting a more comprehensive file release effort from Oversight Committee would be viewed as a very hostile act to the administration. And that was like, wait,
No,
why?
so
What?
hostile. He wants the truth to come out. Marjorie Taylor Greene wants the truth to come out. Several, Anna, Paulina Luna, all of them, they all want the truth to come out. You're not going to do it. And you say, well, we're going to do an oversight committee. You're going to run out the clock. You're going to bury stuff. You're going to redact stuff. And you're going to make sure that you are in control of what people get to see, therefore protecting all of these people. Remember, a lot of these people are still alive. Do you think they stopped afterwards? You got that predication. You're going to go after it. And I told people this yesterday because on my local show, so many people were texting in saying, well, you know what? These girls probably enjoyed it. Stuff like they're trying to, because they're such a supporter of Trump. I said, you know what? The problem is you see these women as women. They were abused. Think of them as your 15-year-old daughter. And that would change your mind on the way that you look at things. And this I find to be ridiculous. And the other part of it is Trump. You guys kind of did this to yourself. For years, we heard about Epstein. We heard about it from the FBI guy, Cash, your second in charge at the FBI, Bondi. We heard it from you. We heard it from your vice president. Release the list, released all the stuff. You don't want to do it now. Well, if your husband or wife won't let you see what you're doing and texting on the phone, you'd probably be a little suspicious.
Yeah. Well, and then the rollout, right? Like with the whole Pam Bondi and oh God, I'm still just mortified on her behalf of how bad that was.
And the lie, there was 3 minutes missing. Everybody found it when they released the stuff the other night. And there's a person in the corner and you see the person walk and you don't know who he is. So you've lied again and you got caught. I'm sorry. Right. After several lies, I have to ask some serious questions.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many twists and turns to this whole story that it's hard to know how to keep up with it. But the fact that Trump continues to refer to it as a hoax, I don't even know what aspect of it he's claiming is the hoax, because he, as you'll hear this lawyer even say yesterday, and then also 10 years ago, Trump was all about helping with the case. Like he wanted to assist the attorney and help these women with information about Jeffrey Epstein. And yet, when he was in that presser yesterday with the Polish president, he kept referring to it as a hoax. And I don't know why he does this, but here he is.
Thomas Massie, who is sponsoring a discharge position to get the House to vote on these documents, says he doesn't think you're implicated in these files, but many of your friends and donors may be, and he says that's why the Justice Department is redacting them and slow walking the release. Is the Justice Department protecting any friends or donors, sir? So this is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied. I know that no matter what you do, it's going to keep going. And I think it's enough, because I think we should talk about the greatness of our country and the success that we're having.
So Robbie Starbuck, as I mentioned earlier, sometimes messaging isn't Trump's greatest strength.
No.
So, and this is one of those times. And I loved what Robbie Starbuck put together as his messaging that should take place from henceforth and forthwith. And he said it should sound something like this, and I quote, Our hearts are with the victims of Epstein, and I've directed my administration to hand over everything they can legally hand over. I'm afraid with the Biden administration's misconduct, we'll never know what files are missing or tampered with. That's a big problem, huge problem, but we'll give everything we can give to produce the transparency that Democrats have refused to give people when Biden was in office. We've already released more than they ever did. By the way, if I had anything to do with this filth, we all know Biden would have released it. We all know that. I had nothing to do with this. Ask his people why they didn't release anything. Media won't ask that. I think we all know why. I also won't let the Democrats and their media puppets distract us from the great progress we're making on so many fronts in ending wars, closing the Democrats' open border, fighting crime in Democrat cities, and building a great economy. So this is not his strong suit. He's just going to go hang on the word hoax. And then that just confuses people because we all know that Epstein was a complete molesting pedophile creep. Yeah. That's not true. That's not a hoax. And so to refer to it that way
and
overall is not exactly.
And again, where was Susie Wiles, who's one of the only people I trust in the administration to look at him and say, no.
Stop saying this.
Stop
saying it.
It's not a hoax. And by covering it up, it makes you look way worse. But it also, you're becoming that deep state that you always said. I remind everybody, you were president when he killed himself in prison. You had a lot of these files and you didn't seem to care then. There's a reason, because you know that there are other agencies that we work with, and nobody wants to be embarrassed over the fact that, again, Uncle Sam was pimping out and human trafficking young women so they could get whatever they need. And we're not the only ones with files. You don't think the Mossad has files? MI6 has files? I mean, get in front of this thing, because something will break at some point in time, and you've got to handle this better. And if you don't show any empathy to 15-year-olds, yes, they're 32 now, that were molested by sweaty, dirty old men, that is not a good look.
Well, and the lawyer for those women even said yesterday that Trump has been, up until now, really, really helpful. And so he is confused by this hostile act, terminology, the hoax terminology. Here he is talking about that.
I don't understand why it's a hostile act. I can tell you that I talked to President Trump back in 2009, and several times after that. He didn't think that it was a hoax then. In fact, he helped me. He got on the phone. He told me things that were helping our investigation. Now, our investigation wasn't looking into him, but he was helping us then. He didn't treat this as a hoax. So at this point in time, I would hope that he would revert back to what he was saying to get elected, which is, I want transparency. This about face that occurred, none of us understand it. In fact, I don't understand how this is an issue that's even up for debate. How do you not stand behind these women after you've heard their stories and know that hundreds of them were abused, and it was only because files are being kept in secrecy? The world should know who he is, who protected him,
and then the same lawyer, this was 10 years ago, saying the same thing.
The only thing that I can say about President Trump is that he is the only person who, in 2009, when I served a lot of subpoenas on a lot of people, or at least gave notice to some pretty connected people that I wanted to talk to them, he is the only person who picked up the phone and said, let's just talk. I'll give you as much time as you want. I'll tell you what you need to know, and was very helpful in the information that he gave, and gave no indication whatsoever that he was involved in anything untoward whatsoever, but had good information that checked out and that helped us, and that we didn't have to take a deposition of him.
That was in 2009?
That was in 2009.
But he wasn't president, and he wasn't running for something. And his friends back then, who were scummy and weird, they didn't give him millions of dollars. They didn't support him to become president. They didn't back him whenever. It changes when you become that president and the politics, and you get inside the swamp and realize, oh, I might have to be swampy too. Like in 2009, he was just, hey, I'm on TV. Look at me. I look like a good guy. Well, now you're the president. And those same people that maybe you gave him, and he probably didn't know who everybody was either, because none of these people do. They all have different experiences. It's just, you got to get ahead of this, because, and the problem is he can't, because it has now become pop culture. and has
Yeah.
become the sphere of influence he has. It only goes to a certain level in the political world. It got outside of that now, and once it's outside of that, he can't put that genie back in the bottle.
I mean, because I just want to be clear, and I think you believe this too. I think you said so. Neither of us think Trump actually molested kids.
No.
Okay. Like, I don't think he had anything to do with these women at all. And I think Democrats are, if there's any hoax part of this, Democrats trying to allude to or suggest or imply that Trump himself should be implicated as some sort of serial predator is not, I don't agree with that at all. To what extent he's covering for other people, I have no idea. But I want that at least to be clear. And by the way, the victims made that clear also.
Do have to ask, and I know, and it's just something that I think we're compelled to at this moment, with the attention on President Trump, with these questions around a pardon. Did anybody see or hear of the president himself doing anything inappropriate as it related to Jeffrey Epstein?
No.
It was no all the way across the board. So
I've always said, I now also don't think Clinton was involved with young girls. I don't think he needed to. Like, I like 21, 22. They got to be a little curvy. I like it. You know what I mean? That is, I never did think there was any of that because he didn't need that. It's the power around him. It's the people that got caught in stuff. Those weirdos. I mean, how many times do we hear about freaking these weird rich people who do weird rich shit, right? Like the eyes wide shut stuff.
Yeah.
You know, because they can have anything in the world. So what's the nectar that they can't have?
Mm-hmm.
And so why he's covering up, and yeah, they maybe don't. At one time, they were just people you knew and you'd heard stories, but you didn't really know. And, you know, but now you're covering for people. And
I don't even know that Trump knows that he is covering for people. Like, to me, it's entirely possible that he's being told by his closest advisors, we've given everything there is, there's nothing else. And, you know, and that's that. And that's what he believes. I mean, I don't necessarily think that Trump,
I mean, there's 230,000 pages that are completely unreleased. They released 33,000 the other night. They released out of that,
right,
less than 1%. Like it was 1,000 pages that were new, and even then there was redacting, and the pictures were of Ghislaine. So there was 230,000 pages that are still not there.
Where is that number coming from?
Oh, they've talked about that for years.
Oh,
they've
really?
had. Oh, yeah, yes. Well, they've had well over. Like the CIA's already said, we destroy anything like that. Come on now.
Yeah,
and we're not
That's
idiots.
the
The
problem,
FBI
is I
keeps
think-
all the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and then going back real quickly to this whole presser thing, the place that it got really weird and that I was just like, this looks terrible, is when a reporter decided to ask the lawyer, hey, what about Virginia Giuffre, who ended up... Yeah, Giuffre, that's right. What about how she ended up retracting or having to retract what she accused Alan Dershowitz of? Because she said he was one of the perpetrators and then was like, oh, my bad, I must have confused him with someone else. And they would not, all the women got really, really squirrely about that question. And then the lawyer refused to answer it. And they acted as if it was an inappropriate question when I don't think that's inappropriate at all.
She was a fabulous. She said some bad stuff happened to her. We can't deny that. She was there, all that stuff. But she, you know, she sang a lot more than she needed to. She was fabulous. It doesn't take away the things it did, but it also it makes people, you know, squirrel. And when somebody asks a question like that, are you doing it because you want to know about Virginia, who, by the way, is dead, for those who are not keeping score? Are you doing it or because you want to make a point and get a point for the other side to say, look, maybe some of these women here are full of crap, which, you know, like I said, yesterday, I got a ton of that. You know, these women enjoyed it. I never got a trip to Africa with the president. You know, people go to their little corners. All I want is the truth. These victims deserve to be heard. And,
for sure.
You know,
but they also, there was no reason for them to behave this way about that question. And to me, that just makes, there should be full transparency all around. So own it. Own the fact that Virginia had to say, and just answer the freaking question.
Everybody knows she was full of shit and some stuff. She was a fabulous. It doesn't take away the stuff that happened to her, but everybody knew that. But if you're asking that question so you can because of the way I kind of took it is like, are you asking that because you want to put doubt that all of these women had an experience? That's that. Or are you asking that because, she can't answer that question, by the way, because Virginia's dead.
Right. And she has answered it, essentially.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, she essentially has answered it. So I don't know. That was a moment to me that just did not sit well, because I was like, what? Why? There should be no question off limits if what you are demanding is transparency. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's just crazy to me.
But
And
that's
so,
already put to bed, and she can't answer for herself. I can't answer for her. She's dead.
but
Her
he
brother's
was
here, right? Her
he was her
brother's here.
lawyer. He was her lawyer.
Yeah, but she's dead. I don't think. Well, and we already know. Everybody knows the answer. I mean, you already know the answer. The answer is she retracted some of that stuff, and she was full of shit in some of the things. That's what he should have said. You guys already know that. And then I would have said, are you asking the question because you think these women are lying or they're fabulous?
But then the fact that reporter got like thrown out of the
that was
presser
stupid.
too
That
for
was
asking the question. And then he even wanted to talk about the fact that some of these women have received giant settlements. And I think that's an on limit, like that's not an off limits question.
No.
All of these things need to be part of the conversation. So there was there were parts of that were very sketchy to me.
Though? And I was talking to somebody about this yesterday. Well, they've got settlements. They got paid out for it. And I said, we don't say the same thing to the people that were molested by the church to make it seem like that whatever happened to them was, well, now that they got paid, they should shut up. No, this guy had billions of dollars that God only knows where it came from. Did you hear her answer about when they asked Ghislaine about how does he get all this money and stuff? She goes, he's good at math. He's good at math and ensnaring men in horrible things. Yeah. But it's weird because it becomes politics, right? And if Donald Trump wasn't around, this would be a whole different story, right? But because Donald Trump's around, it becomes magnified. Plus, because he knew him, it becomes magnified. And then people want to make it seem like these girls are either liars and whatever, get over them, you guys are full of it, or that somehow that they have some sort of magical past to get Trump out of there. It's no, these women have stories to tell about what happened to them when they were kids. It shouldn't be more than that. Let's let it come out. And if our country is involved in it, wouldn't you want to know? How would you feel if you found out that we knew all this was going on, that we used him to capture men doing horrible things? That's insane.
That would be insane. That would be insane. I mean, there's just so many. There's the part of me that's still, as mad as I was when Pam Bondi did the whole rollout, and I was just like, this is utterly ridiculous, and we need full transparency. And then there's the part of me that's getting sick and freaking tired of this story. And so I got to balance it all because, that may be the point, right? Is that the part of this endless like teasing of some of the documents, but not all the documents, is to create that fatigue from the whole story, and just
they're going to run out the clock.
Right.
So we're never going to know the truth. And the way I look at it is, if you're not going to bring this out, either two things. If you really think it's a hoax, then you've lied to me. You've had your people lie to me, and I don't believe a word you say anymore because about it's deep state and they try to steal the election, all this kind of stuff, because you ran on something and you pushed something for a long time, and so did all the people that work with you. And now it's a hoax. Well, that means you lied to me. So why should I believe anything you say? Or you're really protecting people. And I think he's protecting people. And he may say he's protecting the United States of America and our allies. I don't want to know that our country is pimping out young girls so we can, it's a different if you're hunting potting, right? You got a 24-year-old, she's working for the CIA and she's willing to sleep to somebody to get info. That's a different story than this. These were girls who had nothing, no power, and they robbed them of that and reminded them daily, you nothing.
Right.
Right.
That part we know is true.
Yeah.
The rest, I guess there's just going to be endless speculation because I don't think we're ever going to know much more than we do right now.
I know.
And that kind of sucks. And And we need fun stuff now. We have to do our traditional My Pillow Toks, which always come at the end of the show. And I have some cute ones for you. I know you, Chad, if you guys don't know, Chad has had so many creatures, like so many creatures that I would love to pet. Didn't you have, or aren't you going to get, what is it called? Like a binturong?
The bitterong and the capybaras.
Do you have those things now?
No, because we have the apartment. My wife won't let me get one. I think, going to get a Coda Mundi very soon.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah. So because
there's another name for those. The quash, right?
Yeah,
Aren't they also known as a quash?
Yeah. But I want my bitteron is, we've discussed it, like, because I can keep him in here and I've got a nice balcony out there. And if you guys know what bitterong is, it's a bear cat.
Yeah.
It's like if a cat and a bear were smushed, a small bear were smushed together, you'd have this thing, and it smells like movie popcorn.
Oh my God.
All the time.
I love this.
Yeah. So
I have to pet one at some point in my life.
They're really cool.
Have you had a raccoon?
I have had a raccoon. It's really weird. It's the trash pandas with their little hands.
Yeah.
They got thumbs, and you're like, it changes once something gets thumbs, it changes the whole game.
They're so cute. And the baby ones are so adorable. I love this video of a baby raccoon who thinks he's about to fight a fire hydrant.
Scary, huh? That fire hydrant's gonna get you.
Look at his little tail.
That's new to him. He's never seen one of those before.
I know, and I love that that's his initial reaction.
Those are fight words.
I can square up on this fire hydrant, man.
Yeah, those
I
raccoons
freaking love
are
that.
hilarious. I follow this guy on TikTok, and all he does is have a camera on at night, and there's probably 50 raccoons, and they just come over and eat all night, and he's got all this food. It's hilarious.
Oh my gosh, you have to send me the link to that.
I
'cause
will.
would love
You
to
will
follow
laugh.
them.
You will laugh so hard because the next thing you know, you're sitting there, and you're like, "Why am I watching? Oh my God, there's 37,000 people watching this."
Right. It's like those hamsters that they have set to like rave music.
Oh.
Those are hilarious too. And so many people tune in.
We are
It's so
easily
great.
amused.
Very, very, very easily. And you've had creatures that I would never have because I have a strict fur policy. I don't know if you knew that about me, but like snakes or lizards. No.
You
I'm
would
not.
love Winston, my giant, the rock iguana, because it is like he thinks he's a cat or a dog. He's ginormous. He has no jumping skills whatsoever because they call him rock iguanas for a reason. They don't call him a tree iguana. And he does this. What are you doing? What's up? I see you. You see me? I see you. You see me? I see you.
I don't mind lizards because we've got tons of them around here. And I don't mind them because they can be cute. But really, when you think of them as just snakes with legs, then I start not liking them because I hate snakes, hate them. And if you would be unfazed by this, I'm sure, but this would faze me if this happened.
Oh, sweetie. Oh, we got a bit of a problem.
Nope.
That's a big gopher. Oh, can I have him? Can I have this snake, please? Will you sit down? Wait.
Absolutely not.
That's a gopher snake.
Absolutely
Harmless.
not.
It's harmless.
I don't care if it's
Gopher snake.
harmless. It's a snake. And
But
they
if
are
I would walk around your
disgusting.
dog's nose, you would try to do something to fix it.
Well, I would kill it. I would want to kill it. I wouldn't be like, oh, let me have that. Let me just pull him
Well,
off
you
of
got to move it off
gently.
of it. It's going to be fine. And you know
Oh,
what?
yeah.
If you don't like rats and mice and weird stuff like that, you want that thing back out there.
I don't mind rats and mice because they have fur. And they're at least semi-cute in a way. Jay-Z and I talk about the dating scene and how glad we are to not be a part of it all the time. And it's getting hard out there. It's getting hard out there for a lot of people. This cracked me up. It's like a 6-second video that just says it all about how lonely people are nowadays.
I've been single so long that somebody just asked me who I'm with. And I said T-Mobile.
I mean, that's a sad state of affairs, you guys.
Oh, it shouldn't be hard. It should be easier than ever before.
It should, but it is not. It is not
not.
at all. This next one I wanted you to weigh in on because I know you spent a lot of time in the UK. Did you not?
10 years.
You did. So there's a fellow from the UK who loves the United States, has visited the United States, made a lot of great videos in the United States. But here is how he washes dishes. And I am completely freaked out about this. I want to know if you ever saw this in your 10 years there.
If Americans could see what I'm doing right now, you would lose your mind. So, I'm washing the dishes, and in the UK we do something that apparently is only done in the UK. When we wash our dishes with soap, like so, we don't rinse the soap. We simply put it to dry with the soap on. This is normal practice in the UK. Apparently, in America, you guys don't do this. I've always done this. I've always washed my dishes, nice and clean, squeaky clean, take it from here, put it over there. The question is this the right way to do it, or am I doing it wrong? I don't know what is the right and wrong way anymore.
No, you're doing it wrong. We washed our dishes, but we would, we didn't do it with soap. We'd wash them because we didn't have even in the nice houses back then, very few people had dishwashers.
Really? Still? Is that true still?
Yeah, most of them they do, but it wasn't like, man, when I was over there in the 90s, the 80s through the 90s, not everybody had dishwashers. Even in nice houses, they didn't. They did it was really small. Yeah, but the soap thing is stupid. That's not he's an idiot.
I mean, I get if that's the normal. I just have never ever heard of anything like that. That is crazy to me.
That's weird. Don't do that.
All right, last one. And then we've got a couple of thank yous to give. And this one is hilarious to me because I am a person that no matter who tries to explain Bitcoin mining to me, I will never get it. I don't care if you think, oh no, I will be the one that will get you to understand this. You won't. It is not possible to understand it, which is why I relate to this woman 100%.
There is one concept I will never understand, no matter how many times it's explained to me. I could be given infinite lifetimes. I will never understand the concept of mining Bitcoin. I've read about it. I've watched videos about it. None of it sounds like English. I know your computer, probably not your computer because you probably have a stupid computer, a powerful computer, solves complicated math. I don't know where the math comes from. It's on the internet. And when you solve it, you receive a coin. I think you made the coin. I used to think the coins were all created and hidden around the internet like a weird adult Easter egg hunt, but you're making it when you mine it, which doesn't make any sense to me. Then it goes in a wallet, not a real wallet, but a real wallet because it's worth a lot of normal money. Honestly, I didn't know we could create new currency. I thought we had an established currency and that's just what we had to go with. If somebody I knew floated this concept to me and said, I'm going to create my own currency where you mine imaginary coins on the internet and then they'll become widely accepted money, I would be like, are you under the care of a medical doctor? Because I'm concerned. This panned out. I think anybody can do it. Not anybody, because you have to have a fancy computer. It takes a lot of energy, which is bad, and a lot of time, which is sort of also bad. But once you complete it, you have a very valuable imaginary coin. I know all money is imaginary. I get that concept, but this is extra imaginary. I aspire to understand how this happened. I really do. I don't think it's going to happen for me. Anyway, I think it's fake.
That is me to a T. Like I will never ever understand it. Do you understand it?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
I mean, I'm impressed.
Basically the computer, really smart, big, powerful. Don't think of it with Windows and stuff like that, but just think of something that is mining and it solves a puzzle and then it gets like a block.
But who made the puzzle?
You've got all these, the computer's making the puzzles and the puzzles are, it's a whole ecosystem.
But why does solving a puzzle result in something that's worth money?
See, that's the thing that people, it's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? You're going to go in circles.
Yeah. This is what I won't understand it. No matter how many times it's explained.
And to kick off then became this, right? It's like somebody found gold down there at the bottom of the hill, just on the ground, and then think, well, maybe it came from there. So I got to go up there. Yeah, I didn't find the original or make the original, but it's up there. So I got to go now mine it.
It's making me more confused.
Yeah, don't even worry about it.
All right, we have a belated happy birthday wish from Matt Napier to his wife, Sarah. I didn't see this until after the show, and her birthday was yesterday. So he said, happy birthday to Sarah Napier. Please tell Sid, superfan Sid, that winning the lottery tonight would be a great birthday present. I don't think that actually happened.
Nobody won.
But happy birthday anyway. No, I thought somebody won.
No, I don't think anybody did.
I'm pretty sure somebody won.
Really? The Powerball?
Yeah, I think somebody won.
It's going to be no, there was $1 million tickets, but this drawing on Saturday is going to be 1.7 billion. Several people won $1 million, like they got 4 or 5 of the things, but they didn't get the number. So it's going to be 1.7 on Saturday.
Okay. All right. Well, then we're still in it. Over on Locals, Judy Flood said, good morning from Logan, Ohio. Good morning right back at you.
Hello.
Karen Marisco said, manufactured crime. Tell that to those who buried their loved ones. No, Trump should just go in. They should be asking him for help. They hate Trump more than they care for their citizens. Rachel Sinks said, no, it is not unusual to not rinse dishes in the UK. The washing up liquid is formulated differently. I still rinsed dishes when I lived there, but it was from habit and not need. It just seemed gross to not rinse.
The people that I live with, they washed their dishes. They
rinsed?
They rinsed it.
Okay. All right. It's just interesting that there's different strokes for different folks there, apparently. Marcy Perales said, good morning, chicks. Hope all went well with Greg's surgery. Sending prayers and positive thoughts for quick healing. Much love from teeny tiny Purvis, Mississippi. Thank you for that. Leah Shalek says, so Chad, do you think we should stop trying to remove Hamas and just wait for them to October 7th us again? Is that what you would want for your kids?
That's the de facto answer for everything. If you want to get serious, I could paint you a picture that I think most people would be like, oh, I didn't know about that, because you only see it from Israel because they're our allies. But the reality is you're not removing Hamas. You're not. All you're doing is creating more in the future people that are going to hate you, but you're going to ethnically cleanse that place and you're going to send them elsewhere and you're going to take it over, because that was always your plan in the beginning anyways, was to get rid of it. But let's not forget who funded Hamas for the last several years. It was Israel. Israel gave them. It's not even, his whole thing was, if we give them a bunch of money, that will satisfy them. A week before the attack, he had 2 of his high-ranking lieutenants in Qatar because Qatar tried to cut the money off to Hamas, and Bibi wanted to make sure they continued to get it.
I've heard varying
degrees
of that story.
The reality is his thing was, if we can satiate them, if we can give them enough, then they're not going to worry about us. So let's keep doing what we need to do to keep them happy. And
I just can't see that, because I don't think he's ever thought that would be the only thing. He's never thought that they could live side by side peacefully. That's never been a thing.
Well,
I mean, I think, anyway, I don't want to get into this. I don't want to get into this.
Somebody who hates your guts. And you hate their guts too. Let's not forget that. So, and I'm a Jew, and
I don't think they have any reason to hate Palestinians or those people, except that they have always said, we want to kill you. Generally, when somebody says that to you, you hate them back. But I don't think there's any inbred animosity there. They would love to be able to be peaceful and live in peace, but they can't because they're constantly rocketed. And so of course they're going to hate you back. I mean, I'd be hating neighbors who constantly threw missiles at me too.
Yeah,
you know
but
what
if
I mean?
you went over and you told your neighbor, you can only live here. I can take any land I want to at any given time. By the way, I'm going to control your water, your food. I'm also going to control your electricity.
Because you keep saying, I am going to wipe you off the planet.
Yeah, but this
we're going to have a little control.
This was a long time coming. This was one of those things where, people forget. We think just in the modern times. If you go back, Israel helped build Hamas because they didn't like what the PLO was doing. So they wanted somebody to counterbalance that. They helped fund a lot of this stuff because they thought they were going to fight each other eventually and kill each other. And then they would just come in, and then it got away from them. And it's been, it's even Ehud Barak, the former prime minister, said, if I lived over there, I'd be a terrorist too. It's not as simple as Hamas. Everybody wants Hamas gone. We all want Al Qaeda gone. We want the KKK gone. We want all of the bad people gone. I look at the innocents though, and I look at kids, and I think you're born between a rock and a shithole, and there's nothing you can do. And I don't want you to die. I don't want you to be starved to death. And everybody's like, well, what would Jesus do? I don't think Jesus would look down and go, yeah, make sure you kill that 7-year-old. I don't think he would do that.
I'm going to disagree because I don't think Israel ever intends to kill children. That is not what their intent ever is. They are in a war, and that is one of the unfortunate consequences of a war, especially when you're dealing with Hamas, who has done nothing to take care of its own citizens. So, but we could literally talk for 3 hours about this and never never come to any agreement or resolution. And Leah, I know, also said, do you have a plan for ending Hamas without anybody else even getting a stub toe? Leah, I would suggest that you watch Chad's show and engage with him there, but we've got to move on because we're already way past time.
I debate people all the time on both sides of the aisle. I mean, it's Hamas is bad news, and there's a lot of things out there that are bad news, and we want to get rid of them. And we need to, but we need to recognize that there's a lot more to it than just what one side says.
That's fair. That is fair. Brian Brumley says, has Hillary traveled to Germany recently? Which is a great question. Randy Craig says, often Chicago has 3 candidates for mayor and the winner is elected by 34% of the vote. Love you guys. Prayers for Mr. Daisy too. Jose Texas says, morning from Texas. Chad, does Nancy need a spanking? He's referring to Nancy Mace.
You're not a fan of her, huh?
I'm not. I agree with a lot of her politics. I just find her to be a total attention whore, and it's exhausting. She's exhausting to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's very much enough about you, no more about me.
Right. Mike MZ7IR says, Savannah Hernandez is 100% correct about Nancy Mace. She's just another AOC wannabe, but AOC at least pretends to care about people other than herself.
I think Nancy Mace falls in the category of celebrities. You're a politician and now a celebrity, and you can mix the two. You care more about the online and the look.
Yes.
Your constituents are 2 million or 1 million, but you got 12 million followers on Twitter and Insta and everything, and that's more important to you.
Exactly. That's exactly right. Reba Henry 6242 says, when we lived in Panama, Central America, there were cucamongas everywhere. Cucamongas. What are those?
I used to live in Rancho Cucamonga.
What are those?
Cucamongas? She's talking about the what the hell was I? Not the wrong, but you got me confused now.
The Cotamundis?
Cotamundis, yeah.
So that's another word for them? Why do they have so many names?
I don't know.
It's just so weird.
I know.
Well, because you're the creature master. That's how I look at you.
I just call them Kodos.
Oh, okay. See, that's a whole other name.
It is kind of a whole other name. Or cucaracha, or whatever they call them. Well, I just call
cucaracha.
them.
That's a cockroach.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, everybody's got their own name for damn things.
Vincent Devetchis 8322 says, what's your take on feminism and men and women's obligations to society? Damn, that's a big question. And actually, if you would like our take on feminism, we wrote plenty about that in our book, Right for a Reason, Life, Liberty, and a Crap Load of Common Sense, still available on Amazon. We wrote it in 2014, but you know what? Feminism, it's still current.
What's her name? Gloria. A lot of people that talked about feminism that championed it back in the day. You know what they didn't have? They didn't have a family and they didn't have kids. Life changes. Mm-hmm. Right? When you have those things. And most of those feminists that when you talk to them, they look at modern feminism. They said, our goal was to lift women up. It was never to stomp on men's heads to get forward. Which that's
right. You're thinking of Gloria Steinem. Is that who you were thinking? Yeah. Because, Gloria Allred is somebody else that we just talked about. And she's another one of these faux feminists who just she's an ambulance chaser.
She went from, like a lot of them, right? They start out with the right cause, and then they end up going, they become essentially a caricature of what they were.
Right. All right. Thank you, everybody, for those super stickers. Appreciate that. Appreciate Chad for filling in for Daisy, who will be back tomorrow. And so she'll give a full update on her husband's new knee and how that is all going. Usually day one is kind of a honeymoon period. So things are going well. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, this is not fun. Although who knows, hopefully her husband will have a very, very speedy recovery. So appreciate you being here. You can follow Chad at Chad Benson Show and make sure to listen to him as well. You're always so helpful to fill
Thank you.
in.
Come over to my YouTube and argue with me, folks. I love it.
There you go. Thank you so much, you guys. And Daisy and I will be back with you tomorrow. In the meantime, have a great day.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.